Hi Aries, and welcome to your horoscope for October 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm in the UK, so my horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: rising sign first, then sun sign, and finally your moon sign. So I'm going to break down the month into 4 separate weeks, and I'll see how the planets move over your houses to give you an idea of where you're supported, but I'm going to pay particular attention to the moon and what it's doing. So week 1, Tuesday, the 1st of October until Sunday, the 6th of October. On the 1st, we have the moon in Virgo in your 6th house, Aries. So anything that needs organizing, your schedule, your routine, if you want to change from full-time to part-time or vice versa, anything organizational like that in a practical way, you'll find very accessible and easy to resolve. Then on the 2nd and 3rd of October, the moon goes into Libra. But on the 2nd of October, we have a new moon in Libra, and that's also a solar eclipse. So I made a separate video on that. Have a look, please, to see how that influences you. But as Aries, the solar eclipse happens in your 7th house of relationships. So those 2 days, the 2nd and 3rd of October, are fabulous for new relationships and spending time with friends, family. It's even brainstorming, good time with colleagues. So anything that needs doing that involves other people, whether it's something pleasant like spending time with people you love, or it's a bit more dicey where there's, mediation and negotiation involved. 2nd and 3rd are great for that. Then on the 4th, 5th, and 6th, the moon goes into Scorpio, and it's in your 8th house. And the 8th house in the traditional chart is the house of the occult and death and the other side. It also has to do with big organizations like the government or the tax office. And with the moon being in Scorpio, you have a deep understanding of what's really going on. So if you need anything sorting out that involves officialdom, visa applications or tax returns, or submitting of grant applications, or submitting an essay or a manuscript, these 3 days are really good for that. So in the first week, the houses that are touched by the moon are the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So the first week of October for you guys, Aries, it's very much about, the formal structures you have in your life and the formal relationships. And if you want to make any changes in those areas, it's a great time to do it. So whether, you want to get your foot in the door to some big company by writing an application, or if you want to, plan ahead for October and say, this is what I'm going to change about my exercise routine, anything like that. And my connections with other people, if you want anything to change, to become closer or to create some distance, that's really the area that's supported here during the first week. Also, on the 6th of October, we have the moon void of course after its opposition with Uranus. And that is, again, in your 8th house, and Uranus is in your 2nd. Uranus is the planet of the miraculous and unexpected. And in Taurus, in retrograde, the opposition here for the kind of second half of the 6th of October, you may feel that you want to make some changes to an organization you belong to, as in, this hospital I work in, for instance, isn't really doing it for me. And you may start to get some inner ideas about how you could change your income. So any Aries, if you, want to make a change to existing employment or self-employment, consider it on the 6th. You'll get some good answers there. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 7th to 13th of October, we start this week with the moon being in Sagittarius on the 7th and 8th, and it goes through your 9th house of travel and education and the higher realms, and expanding your mindset and your perspective on the world, right? So if you want to do any traveling or study, or you want to have new experiences, or even do something fun that involves exercise and something that really, gets your blood pumping, something that's quite demanding, that'll be really fun on the 7th and 8th. And there's a sense of adventure involved before the moon goes into Capricorn on the 9th and 10th. And then it goes into your 10th house of career. So the 9th of 10th is really, if you have a lot of work that needs doing, if, you have piles on your desk, the 9th and 10th are really amazing, because you're going to feel very close to your own work, or you'll feel that you have a lot of control over it. And if you need to be very productive or prolific in October, I would say these 2 days are amazing for that. Also, on the 9th of October, we have Jupiter going retrograde until the 4th of February next year, right? So with retrogrades in astrology, the personal planets are really significant when they retrograde, Mercury, Mars, Venus. But the outer planets, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus, or so on, they stay in retrograde for about half a year. So it's not that significant. But the way I always look at it is if something has retrograded, the influence is expressed internally within you. And when it's direct, it comes via the outside world. And Jupiter is good luck and good fortune. And in your chart, it's in your third house of communication in Gemini. So new ideas, if you're a writer, for instance, new material, new solutions, new ways forward, new avenues for you to tread, all of those will appear from within. So it's really good while Jupiter's in retrograde until February next year, and also with the eclipses, we're supported until early next year. Look at what comes up during meditation or talking to other people, and how you kind of process that internally. It may be something new and different that leads to a lot of prosperity and good luck and good fortune. Okay, so on the 10th of October, the moon is in its second quarter and it's waxing. And that happens in Capricorn in your 10th house again. So there'll be a lot of energy in a sense of I can do more than I expected and things are better than expected and I'm super productive and I get things done like this. So you're going to be very, very effective around this time of the month. So then on the 11th and 12th of October, the moon goes into Aquarius, and it's in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, but also friendships and the kind of reach your own life has and how rich you feel it is. So with the moon being there on these 2 days, that's a really great opportunity to kind of brainstorm and to say, hey, I've achieved certain things in my life. What could I achieve next? What would the ideal and best thing be for me? Is it living in another country, or is it teaching people, or starting a charity? It really allows you to think about what isn't yet in a practical sense, but what exists in your mind, and how to kind of identify what a dream is, like a new hope and dream, and how you can then make that happen. But I also think it's a good time to spend with people you like and to enjoy their company. On the 11th of October, we've got Pluto, the planet of transformation and change. That goes direct. So Pluto is really significant this year because in January it went into Aquarius, and I made a separate video on that because I think we're starting this new era, right, of 20 years of Pluto and Aquarius. But the only time it was going to retrograde back into Capricorn is now. So from September, it's going to stay in Capricorn until the 19th of November. But here on the 11th, once it starts going direct again, it starts moving forward and starts getting nearer to Aquarius. So this is a good thing because with Pluto going direct in Capricorn, it's in your 10th house, Aries. So if you want to make any changes to your work, and also on that day, on the 11th, the moon is right on top of it. So what is my heart's desire when it comes to my career and my work? And how can I rise like the phoenix from the ashes and create that for myself? So you guys so far this month, the first 2 weeks pretty much here, they're very optimistic and they're very much about the public sphere and saying, who am I going to connect with and what business am I going to start? And how can I expand my life from what it is now? Okay, and then on the 13th of October, we've got the moon in Pisces, and that is in your 12th house of spirituality and strength. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and again, in the traditional chart, it's ruled by Pisces. So I think this is a great day for you to just chill and to relax and to meditate and to self-care and to decompress, really. On the 13th of October, we have Mercury ingressing into Scorpio, and it goes into your 8th house. So if you've been undecided about how you feel around certain official connections you have in your life, again with, contracts and your employer, Mercury in Scorpio feels things quite deeply and allows you access to your innermost feelings. Venus is also in Scorpio in that 8th house at the same time. It may be a little too intense, you see. So if you are prone to resentment or picking up resentments in work or in your personal life, just watch out for that here on the 13th, because I think you may read too much into it, into something that wasn't meant maliciously, but it might set you off and touch a nerve. So just be aware that you may be a little overly sensitive when you're working with big groups here. And the houses covered in this second week are houses 9, 10, 11, and even the 12th. So that's the 9th house, and then it's the 4th quadrant, houses 10, 11, 12. And that's really on top of your chart, right? So 9th is expansion growth, 10 is career, 11 is hopes and dreams being realized, and 12th is spiritual awareness and what am I moving towards there. So this second week, with it covering those 4 houses, anything that you need to, again, do in the public, anything you need to do with your work, and changes around your work in order to facilitate your hopes and dreams being realized is a good idea. And also try and meditate on that. If you want to make any practical changes in your work, ask for help and guidance and support via your guides. And you may be able to transform the current self and upgrade it via changing your work or improving your work and what you do in that and how you feel about it. Okay, so week 3, Monday to Sunday, 14th to 20th of October. We start week 3 with the moon being in Pisces on the 14th and 15th. And again, it's in your 12th house, but now it's next to Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. Again, this isn't just a great day to kind of chill and to self-care, but if you're a writer or an artist or a healer or an intuitive, you know, whatever you tap into to create that work and to create those masterpieces will be really, really easy for you to tap into. It's like your own spirituality and creativity is super accessible and opens up. So particularly if you have to use your imagination and you have to tap into the creative process, do that here on the 14th and 15th. It'll seem like right there in front of you. So writer's block is pretty impossible on the 14th and 15th. On the 14th, the moon is void of course after its square with Jupiter until Tuesday, when it enters Aries in the evening. Okay, so with Jupiter, Jupiter's in Gemini. So when the moon is void of course after that square, you may get some really new ideas, and it's better to kind of sit and receive and to listen than to immediately act upon them. So if you have been, you know, out of ideas, or if you've been looking at the first page of the novel and it stayed blank for a long time, really meditate here on the 14th and the 15th, I would say, to get this new inspiration. You know when authors say the character and the plot just walked into my head? And that may happen. But if it does happen, it'll happen around this time for you. Okay, then on the 16th and 17th, we've got the moon going into your sign of Aries. So the 16th and 17th is all about action. So daydream a few days before and then say, okay, well, how am I going to jump into action now on the 16th and 17th, and what can I get done? So this is a good time to achieve your goals, but it's also a good time to heal yourself in certain ways. Like if there's something that's been a disappointment or it hasn't worked the way you would like, try it again on the 16th and 17th and push really hard. You may get a better outcome. On the 17th, we have the full moon in Aries. So it's your full moon. The full moon is when it reaches its completion point in its 28-day cycle, and it says, hooray, I've made it. I can let go of all of this energy. So you're going to be showered in your own energy. So Aries, the 16th and 17th are really fabulous for you in terms of just feeling like you're yourself, you have access to your own energy, you can get things done the way you would like, life is straightforward, but it's even more on an external level. But even if you've had some personal issues that keep plaguing you, you know, like things that you have to constantly work on to mitigate or minimize or whatever, you'll even be able to do that inner work very nicely around this full moon. On the 17th of October as well, Venus ingresses into Sagittarius, and it does that, goes from your 8th house and into the 9th. So Venus is love and beauty and what I want to give life to, right? And in the 8th in Scorpio, it's not that great because it's like, oh, I'm just really in my feelings and I pick up resentments easily and stuff. And I really want a close, intimate connection with someone. But if that doesn't go the way I like, then I'm not happy. You know, it's a bit much. It's a bit demanding. But when it ingresses into Sagittarius in the ninth house of travel and higher learning and broadening your mindset, it's really fabulous. So if you want to start a new course or if you want to do something different, pick up a new hobby, the 17th is particularly wonderful for that. Then on the 18th and 19th, we've got the moon going into Taurus, and it sits in your second house of money. So remember, the moon is your heart, right? Your feeling. And when it's in Taurus, it's like, I really feel comfortable when I have a lot of money around me, or when I have creature comforts around me, or when things are solid and predictable and visually pleasing. Taurus is quite sensual. It likes creature comforts, right? But with the moon going through your second on the 18th and 19th, it's really a great time to create some comfort and to treat yourself and to look at the work that you do and the fruits of your labor and actually allow yourself to benefit. So this is great for just treating yourself a little bit, but it's also good to connect with nature. And it sits next to Uranus on the 19th, right? Uranus is the miraculous and the unexpected. So if you've been thinking of, or you've been trying to get a new business idea, you've been considering that, how do I do something more to create more income? The 19th particular is fabulous for brainstorming on that subject. Then on the 20th, we've got the moon going into Gemini, and it gets really close to Jupiter, the lucky planet in Gemini, in your third house. So this is great for communication, interviewing, articulating yourself, getting something off your chest, speaking your truth. It's very good for presenting something and having a really good outcome. You know, like the opposite of I'm trying to say something and I put my foot in my mouth and it just goes belly up. This is like I find the right words, the message I'm trying to convey has been conveyed, and it's good for connections with other people, but also to clear the air and to clarify things. On the 19th, the moon is void, of course, after its conjunction with Uranus until it enters Gemini the same day in the evening. So that happens on the 19th, between the 19th and 20th, right? So with that, it's a good idea to brainstorm about new business ideas, but leave it to the 20th or even the Monday after the 21st to actually put it into practice. So easy does it. Be patient around this time. So in this third week, the houses we've covered via the moon. So it started in Pisces in your 12th, then Aries in your second, and then Gemini in your third. So that's almost the first quadrant, the quadrant of self. How do I see myself? How do I create an income? What's my perspective on life? But also the 12th is included. So this third week, do spend a little bit of time on meditation or reflecting about your life, because you're going to gain a deeper understanding of yourself, and that understanding could lead to a different avenue and you building something unique in your life that can really pay off financially. Week 4, Monday to Wednesday, the 21st to the 31st of October. So it's not really a week, it's like a 10-day period at the end here. So on the 21st, we've got the moon in Gemini, and that's now still in your third house of communication, so expressing yourself. It's also, I would say, making amendments to written work or double checking everything. I think like proofreading things would be a good idea to do on that day. But also on the 21st, the moon is void, of course, after it's square with Neptune, until it enters Cancer the next day. So if you're expressing like hidden truths, I think it's good to mediate and to connect with people and to share your truth, but I'd be careful about like expressing every skeleton in the closet just to, you know, relieve yourself and venting. Be careful about venting on the 21st. I don't think it might be a bit too much. So on the 22nd and the 23rd, then the moon goes into Cancer. It's in your fourth house of family. And that's really wonderful for family, relationships, closeness, the domestic sphere, staying home and enjoying your creature comforts. And again, it's good for self-care. The sun enters Scorpio on the 22nd of October, and it goes into your 8th house and is next to your midheaven and Mercury in Scorpio. So if you've been uncertain, how do I feel about this job? Could I do something better? Is this the perfect job for me? Am I comfortable here? It's like the penny drops, and you'll really gain a great understanding around your deepest, darkest feelings when it comes to the institutions or the employers or corporations or communities or religious communities you belong to. Then the 24th and 25th, the moon goes into Leo, and that goes into your 5th house of what you love. So that's a really great time to spend with your kids and to play and to like take them to, I don't know, like the petting zoo or trips or whatever. It's also a good time for romance. And if it's the two of you, to get away for a few days and to really enjoy, you know, genuine chemistry and make each other laugh. It's great for companionship, spending time with someone who's close to you, who warms your heart. On the 24th, the moon is in its 4th quarter, and now it's waning, right? It's getting smaller and smaller towards the new moon that happens then in November. So this is, and what sign is it in on the 24th? It is still in Leo. Okay, so there's a sense of things calming down, but it's like it mitigates the excessiveness of Leo if it's somewhat self-involved, right? So it's still a wonderful time for relationships and just really having a good dialogue and a discussion and understanding each other truly without any room for miscommunication. So what days are these? 24. I'm just thinking if it's a weekend, it'd be great for a getaway. Okay, then on the 26th, 27th, and 28th, the moon goes into Virgo, and that's in your 6th house of work. So again, anything that needs doing in work, or anything that you need to work on around the home or on your body or your wardrobe, or anything that requires a little bit of elbow grease, right? Devote yourself to those things. Virgo, again, it's very practical, grounded, and it helps you build structures that really serve you. Excuse me. Then the moon goes into Libra on the 29th, 30th, and 31st of October. And again, that's a really good time for relationships, but also to receive some support from people who love you. So if you are, you know, if you have something difficult on your to-do list, like you have to present in front of a ton of people and that's not your favorite thing, or you have to do the job applications, write the CV, get it all together. Ask for help around those days. There are going to be a lot of people who are willing to help you and who want to support you. So going back to when the moon was in Virgo on the 28th, we've got the moon void, of course, after its opposition to Neptune until it enters Libra on the 29th, right? So that day between Virgo and Libra, I think it's good to start asking for help early, or to share it with people who have your back or who may have some experience in what you're doing, and letting them in on it so that the job becomes a group effort and it becomes much easier for you. And then finally on the 31st, we have Halloween, and we're moving up towards a new moon, which happens on the 1st of November. Let me just check what sign that is in. 1st of November. I think it's in Scorpio. Yeah, it's a new moon in Scorpio. So that is amazing for Halloween because it happens on the 1st of November, but a moon in Scorpio, and it's a new moon in Scorpio. It's pitch black, and it's about taboo and what's hidden and the other side, the veil between this reality and the higher realms. So if you want to do something like, you know, what Halloween was traditionally associated with, which is about the thinning of the world, then do any of that kind of stuff if you're into it, because it will be a very powerful Halloween in that mystical kind of sense. And the strongest element on the day is water, and water is connection to spirit and channeling and mediumship and all of those kinds of things that go on behind the scenes. So in this last week, what houses the last 10 days, the moon covers, let me just check, it goes from house 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going from the last house in the first quadrant, including the whole second quadrant and a little bit of the third. So this is really about what is it I love, like what makes me feel at home, who do I want to speak about, have I got a comfortable schedule that I'm happy with, who are the people in my life, and then with Halloween, I get to have fun and get to do things that are mystical or spiritual. So the last week of October is more about the domestic sphere of your life and who do I care about and what are my hobbies, what I love to do. So if you have the chance to kind of stay home a little bit and enjoy all the good stuff that's happening there, you're not going to have any problems in your family or home life in those last 10 days. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with here in October. I hope you have a fabulous month. If you would like a personal reading with me, get in touch via my website, please. It's gregoryscott.com. And to draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please, where I'll work it out. I hope this has been useful. Check out some of my other videos. Check out the one on the eclipse on the 2nd of October, and I'll make a separate video for the full moon in Aries on the 17th as well. But I hope you have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.